So let's quickly fix a few issues here. Now the issue I have most here is this right here. So what I want to be able to do here is to simply include a file instead of having to do this using the view like the way it is here, because this is cumbersome. Now what I want to be able to do is when I say include, I want to be able to do this. So it should be like this, something like this. For a second, wait a second. I want it to be something like this, where I say include, like so. Include, correct spelling there. So I want to do this include like this, and then add that without having to type .php, etc., etc. Now, if I try to do this, I'm going to have a problem. Let's click here, and you see that failed to open stream. No such file was found. The other alternative is to have this view return the contents there, and then we echo them here. That's always the better view, the better way to do it. The only problem is, let's come back here. Here we are using require, right? Instead, we can use return so that it returns the result from here, the result of the require. The only problem with that is that the PHP that will be returned is not processed as PHP. That's where the issue is. Unless we create a templating engine to handle that, but that's beyond the scope of this video. So I need a simple way to be able to do what I want here, something like this, without getting an error. So one option I could do is I can use this here, like so. Or instead of this, because that looks like too much as well, I could use a helper. I'll just say views, something like this, views path, like so, like that. That way, so this is a function we can create called views path, which will translate whatever is in here. It will translate that into the full path in the views, the same way this is doing it here. When we just say view, it will find the file, even though we've just given a partial name. So I want the same thing, but it should return the full path of the file, and then it can easily be included that way. So views path include. This way we don't have to add data here, because that's a big problem. If, for example, we have several amounts of data to add, it's going to become a mess, because here we'll have to add data and data continuously, arrays and arrays, which I don't want to do. I want a variable that is available here should also be available when I include that file. Okay, so instead let's create a helper called views path. I'll copy this and let's open our functions right here. And I'll just create a function here. I'll just say function, and it will be like this. And then here will be the name of the view, like that. So this is very similar to what we have in the controller here, controller view, right? Except we don't want to have the option for this. So I'm just going to do exactly the same thing here. Copy all of this, come back here and paste it, like so. Okay, so instead of require here, we want to get the path. So I'll just return this. So it's going to return this string right here. So we'll include the view here, or we include the view for the other thing. That's it. So that's all we're going to do, views path. Let's see if that works. Okay, so it seems like it's actually working. Very good. So now we have no problems. If I come back here, and we close this controller, single class view right here, you will notice that we just have a partial name, but it's working fine. And then if, just to show that it's working, I want to echo something inside this view file. This is class tab lecturers, which is class tab lecturers right here. So already it's echoing these values in here, which is pretty cool. It means things are actually working. So I can do this, copy, and right here I can do show like this. Okay, something like that. And refresh. Okay, so you see it has echoed that, which is inside a variable, like so. Let me remove that. So it shows that it's actually including a file and processing the PHP, which is awesome. All right, so if I now come back here, this is what we're going to replace everything with. So I will copy that up to here and replace this view with that. So copy here, copy, copy, and paste like so. Then control right so that we get to the end. And then, oh, unfortunately that isn't working well. So I'll just copy the closing tag, move one step, close that. Okay, so this way we have a way to include. Now you can shorten the name of this, because you don't have to name it like this. You can make it A like this, so that it's as short as possible, so that it's easy. It looks cleaner if you want, but I want it to make sense so that next time I come, I know to check the code, I know what it's doing. All right, so let's refresh. Okay, great. Now if I click add lecturer, I can add a lecturer here. All right, so with that in mind, we are able to add a lecturer now. So to add a lecturer, we want a system where I will type a name like this and then press find, and then a list of names will come here, and then we can click add on one of them. So just say add, and then it will bring us back here where we will have a lecturer here. Okay. Now the search could use some JavaScript, but I want to avoid using JavaScript in here. I want to keep it strictly PHP as per request. That way we reduce some complexity. So let's try and do something like that. So from now on, we'll be working on a single file here. So I'll close all this. Let's see here. Ooh, I almost sneezed there. So we are going to these tabs here: class tab lecturers add.view.php. Now, since we have changed this to include, we can change the file names to include here, like we had wanted previously, so that we know this is just an include, and then it will mean in the functions here we can change the view to include. That way we know that these are partial files, the other ones are full files. I think it helps to organize your code a little bit better. So let's do that. Let me change this to include like this. So INC, that way I know that this is a partial file, like this as well. This one I will leave because it's a view file, so that's okay. But this one, like that, that's all right. And then I will have to go in here and get all these that have a tab at the end and change them to include. So I'm going to rename the view part to INC, save, refresh, rename, same thing here, INC, rename here, INC, and finally this one, INC. Okay, so these are the files we use for the include function. This way it helps to organize things a bit better. All right, good. So now that we have that out of the way, class tab, we want to open the add file here. So we have a form here, and the method is post, of course. Now we're just going to take one item. This one is going to be name. We're just going to call it name, and let's add a placeholder. This one will be lecturer name, like so. Let's add a class of form control. That should do. And then let's add a button down here. So this button will be search or find, and it will have a class name of button primary, like so. And let's add some break tags to make them separate, like this. Maybe 2 break tags. Let's now refresh. Okay, so add lecturer there. Maybe let's put a break tag. And I want this to go to the center. So I'll say MX auto, like this. Let's see if that'll work. Okay, it didn't work because it's wide, but that's fine. We'll leave it there. So here we have to type the name and then click search. Now I want to float the button to the other side, so I'll say float end, like this. That way the search is here. And then let's do a style. I'm going to say width 100%, and then I'll say max width, so that the maximum width, we don't need it so big, 400 pixels. So let's see how that works. Okay, there we go. So add lecturer, search. Let me remove the break tag, one of these break tags here. Now because we've floated this thing, this is hanging here. So to fix that, we're going to put a clearFix class on a div. So let's create a div, let's add a class, and let's call it clearFix, like so. Alrighty then, let's refresh, and there we go. So add lecturer, so lecturer's name here, and then click search. Let's put autofocus, like this. That way it focuses automatically. All right, so add lecturer, we add the lecturer here and click search. Once we click search, we should have some results down here. Okay, great. Now we need to check if something was posted when the page has this tab lecturer add at the end here. So if that is true and something was posted, it means we are searching for lecturers. Now, if we go to where it says staff members, these are the staff members who are the lecturers. So once we search, a result will look something like this. So which means we will need to make this universal so we can use it multiple times. So if I now go to users, this is the users view, and I get to this point. Where is this? So there's a nav bar here, but then there's this card group, okay, which shows the whole group. Justify content, and then there is a card. So where is the card? So this is the card itself, right? Wait, that's not the card. Okay, so the card is right here. So inside the for each loop, this is one card right there. So this includes this segment here. So I want to be able to replicate this. So what I will do is now cut this out of here, and then I will create a new file, right click on views, new file, paste like so. Let's move this back a little bit. So this represents one item, what do we call this? One user. So we're just going to say user, okay, dot, right there, inc.php. So it's just user.include.php. And then let's save that. So we know that's just an include file because of the inc. And then here all we need to do is say include. Let's use some PHP tags, shall we? PHP include. And then let's close them over here. But in the include, we're going to say views path as usual, and then just say user, like so. Okay. Now let's come back to this page, this staff page, and make sure that we haven't broken anything. So I'm going to click here, refresh, and you see that it works just like it used to work previously. Okay, nothing has changed. The advantage now is that we can use this anywhere we want. So I'm going to copy this. Yes. And come back to, let me close the include here. That's all we needed it for. So on the add here, down here we should have some results. So I'm just going to create a div out here, and I'm just going to say class container fluid, like this. And then this is where our results will be. So in the results we'll have something like this, but we want to make sure that the results actually exist. So we can copy what's here, just this whole thing actually. Copy there, paste it here. Let's move things back a little bit. We don't need this else statement here out. We need the end of the for each loop and this one, like so. Okay, so we check if rows exist, and if those rows exist, we do a for each and then echo out the results and then close end if there, like so. Okay, so great. These will be our results. So let's come back to classes, click on second class here. Let's click on add lecturer. So this is where we are. Now it's saying undefined variable rows. Okay. Instead of rows, we can call it results. That way it's clear what we are talking about. So it's going to be results like that. So if results, so we're just going to check if is a set like this, results, and results like that. Okay. If it's set and it has something, there we go. So when we click search, we should get some results here. Now, we may need the else statement there, but instead of an else statement, we're just going to ask the question if this request was a post request, and if it was a post request, we can show no results were found. So maybe it was too early to remove that else statement. So let me go back and copy it. I'm going to copy that, come back here, and let's paste it over here. Paste like so. Now there's an else here, but before we write anything here, We'll say no results were found. No results were found. Anyway, you can put any message that you want, no results were found, but we need to ask the if statement first. So I'm going to copy this if and put it right here. Yeah, this is all a mess. So I'm going to say if count post is greater than 0, then it means something was posted. Then we'll do that. Let me move this if like so, and that like that. Okay, so if that is greater, then no results were found. So that way, if I do this, it says no results were found. And I can center it by just adding a center, like so, and come back here and put this here. Okay, resend, no results were found. Maybe let's add an HR tag here. Okay, no results were found. Otherwise, if we just refresh it, we don't get that. But if we search, no results were found. Okay, so in the next video, let's see how we can actually search for the lecturer.